What's the best thing about Mass Effect? If you didn't say the squad mates, I'd probably hear you out. But if you did say the squad mates, I'd be like, yes, yes, it is the squad mates because I believe it's the squad mates. And you know what this video is? I mean, you can probably tell, but I'm making one. I'm making squad mates. Now, there are many ways of making a character, everyone has their own one, but we need something which is relatively reliable, understandable, and kind of usable, so we can just base everything on. If only there was some sort of helpful guide to creating non-playable characters. Some of you might recognise these. These are the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition books. Mass Effect going D&D, baby! So looking through the book, there's things we need. Occupation history, appearance, abilities, talent, interactions, useful knowledge, ideal, bond, and flaw and secret. Now these are the ones which are in the books for like the DM's non-playable characters, but there are a couple more, such as race and also class. I will add another one which is call to action, so all I have to do is gather up all the previous squad mates and put them into a nice list and categorise them all. That'll take just a short moment. I can tell you that took a while. I did have the help of a Mass Effect superfan, but it still took a while. For it, I'm going to use a randomizer, so we should realistically be done in just 15 rolls. Yeah? So with every new Mass Effect game, there's usually a new species added to the roster. So on top of the 28 previous squad mates, I'll add 2 more. And what do we get? Human. Alright. I made history slightly different to occupation because I thought it'd be fun to have what they did in the past and what they're doing now. But let's see what we get. Military. Gotcha. A similar sort of list as the one which we just did, but let's just see what we get. Military. So far we have a human, military trained military person. There's a slight concern. Do you remember when I said that squad mates are the best bit of Mass Effect? That is true, but there are some which are better than others. Every Mass Effect has 2 human, military-trained military people, and with respect to the writers and the performers, they're not likely to be people's favourites. But because they're so frequent in the Mass Effect universe, the randomizer will likely choose them. The point being is the randomizer isn't necessarily going to create our favourite character. So what do? I have a plan. I made a poll. It's kind of simple really. It basically asks you to rank all the previous Mass Effect squad mates out of 5. I sent this around Twitch, Discord, Reddit and Twitter, trying to get as many replies as possible so I could get a set of varied answers. And without much further ado, I will reveal the list to you. Well, I'll do the top 5. There's 28 previous ones. In 5th place is Tali. In 4th, Mordin. 3rd, with the bronze, is Legion. And 2nd place, the silver medal, is Rex. And in 1st, well, it's hardly surprising with an average of 4.85 out of 5, is James Vega. I'm kidding, it's Garrus. It's obviously Garrus. If you are interested, I will post the full results at the end of the video, so there you go. But that's the top 5. So what I'm going to do is get these top 5 results and give them points corresponding to where they are on the leaderboard, and then just get their answers and create the best character from that. For the first 3 categories, we've got unique race with military training but is now a science scholar. Let's say an aged Batarian that used to be part of the military or like this or CSEC that is now trying to research anthropology to understand more about their own culture and why it's so antagonistic to the rest of the other cultures. That's sounding better already. Our character needs a reason to jump on the ship, because if you're in like a nice family homestead with the perfect life, you're probably not going to want to jump onto a military ship that specifies in suicide missions. For our favourite character, we've got shared goals and ideals. In Mass Effect, there's a lot of focus on overcoming xenophobia, and this makes a lot of sense for our Batarian because of the history with Batarians. For our human, revenge. Okay. There are 2 parts to this one, the primary and secondary. For our Batarian, we've got technology and battle worn. Our Batarian could have a technology infused suit, also maybe with a prosthetic leg, And maybe a scar on like the face or something. Our human is armor and mystery. It's giving me some ideas, but let's hold off just for the moment and see what else we get. Those who play TTRPGs are aware of these 6 attributes. Our Batarian is intelligent, and the human favours strength. Infiltration for the Bat. Yeah, I'm just going to call him Bat for the moment. And our human is also an infiltrator. They can be friends! Yay! Here are the options. And our Batarian is a tinkerer. I reckon that makes sense with the focus on prosthetics. Like they like building something into their arm as well as the prosthetic leg. Our human is an artist, and this actually gives me quite a good road to go down. Maybe a human who is born and bred in the military and his military was focus all over throughout their whole life. But they are artistic. They've got an artistic side. The artistic side is being repressed because they were taught to do so, and in their own head they don't see it as much use. This makes sense for mystery, as they could be covering up art which they have on their own body, and it acts as like a guilty pleasure to them. I'll leave revenge call to action for the moment, but it's a good start. By the way, I think I've run into another slight issue. Although the randomizer creates a random character and our top boy is likely to be good, it feels somewhat limited, and this is especially shown by the talent hobby because there's a million talents and hobbies, but this is boiled down to a certain few. So for the third character, I'll just make something up, and put it into all the categories. Just make it up from scratch. Some of my favourite characters are heavily flawed. It just adds more dimensions to the characters, in my opinion. So if I stick with a criminal past, that'd be pretty good. It also gives them the military training which is required for being able to fight. It also gives me another range of options what we can actually do on our current occupation. I've got it. What about a grizzled but caring park ranger Quarian that used to be a poacher? The change in morality could lead to their loyalty mission, which inevitably happens for every single squadmate, but also could be their call to action. Previous poacher buddies could have destroyed the range or something. When it comes to appearance, yeah, I'm just making them female. I think a mixture of tribal to go with a ranger focused background and battle worn. In terms of ability, I think I'll go for wisdom just because of their change from poacher to park ranger, which is a complete 180. For class, I'll go with vanguard, as there aren't many of them. And for the hobby, I think animal care for one, but also sports, because I want to know more about the sports in Mass Effect universe. That might just be me. To be honest, I really like this character. I know favoritism might come into play, but I'd like them to be around with me on a long journey. Why not? Looking at poll results, it seems like most like Garrus, who is very friendly, so our Batarian is also going to be friendly, like Garrus. Our human is going to be comedic. Maybe that comedy comes from the same self-suppression for their artistry. For the character designed by me, I'd also want them to be a really good mate. Someone who I could spend a lot of time travelling and having fun with. I think to differentiate them from our Batarian, I think I'll make them a little bit elusive. This will give them maybe an aura of wisdom, but also hide their past a little bit from you. Our top boy has tech knowledge, human has military, of course, but my character will be a mixture of biology and criminal knowledge because, you know, they used to be a criminal and they obviously care about animals now and they know a lot about the animals, so biology. And just, I mean, it'd be really good to have biology. I mean, the people behind Mass Effect could use the character to sort of like explore all the different animals in the universe. It would work really well. Fairness is in the eyes of Batarian. A lawful fairness does make sense because they want to be lawful and fair towards their Batarian race. The human is self-knowledge, and this might work actually quite well. They might have a subconscious inner conflict of the self-suppressed artistry which is inside them. Yaelu, yes, I'm giving my favourite character a name, would clearly have a redemptive arc, but also cares a lot for life, so I think life is the most ideal thing because that's what they want to strive for the most. They want to look after the all-animal life now. Your favourite character is Community. Yeah, that makes sense. Human is also community, another thing they sort of like can join in on. But Yaelu is connected to their own wrongdoings and fixing the issues which they may have caused or just persisted throughout their life. You know, maybe it's a bit unfair that I don't name the other ones, so I'm going to call the Batarian Dino and the human Sam. The flaw for our top dog Dino is ignorance. Maybe they could be intelligent but not wise. For Sam, it's wrath or wrath, however you want to say it. Wrath. Tim Roth. This could be their inner conflict just coming out as uncontrolled rage at points. For Yaelu, it's clear the history. When you meet Yaelu, they're a caring person, but over time, when you travel with Yaelu, you find out that they do have a darker and darker past. You come to learn how bad they really were, and what they had to do to change to become the person they are today. And that's it! We've got our characters! And they are... We've got the Good Batarian, a military-trained researcher that works on prosthetics and trying to connect the historically antagonistic people of their own race to the rest of the universe. Our oppressed human soldier, an artist at heart but has been squashed down so they become a good soldier. Oh, and their revenge could be in relation to a person who showed their artistry in the military field, but it really affects Sam and they don't understand why. And finally Yaelu, our ex-poacher turned animal carer, trying to redeem themselves and look after all the animals in the universe. And there we have it, 3 great characters. So that's our characters created, and I think they're pretty swell. The more I think about it actually, the more I want these characters to exist. It's funny, when you create characters, the more and more time you spend evolving and just defining your characters, the more attached you grow towards them. A lot of people who play TTRPGs will probably find this. I mean, you often play these games for years. It's also very specific to the person who they play with or as this can be an extension of the person themselves. When talking about Mass Effect though, I haven't actually mentioned the player character, but this is because Shepard is malleable. Shepard was made with well-performed variations in the narrative arc so that you can imprint yourself on that character, but the more interesting and more set-in-stone characters are the squadmates. There are things you can slightly change, but they're much more solid. When you go on a mission in Mass Effect, you're asked which of your team you want to take with you. This is usually decided by a few things. Force, people you have to take with you. Functionality, maybe useful in certain places. Curiosity, you may have not used that character very much. But mostly, preference. And this preference is who you like to hang out with. Which basically means your squad mates act as your friends. And I've spent a whole video making a squadmate. I've just designed a friend specifically for me. The point is, spending a lot of time making friends really makes you realise how much you miss your own friends. I want to see my friends. So I'm looking forward to this pandemic being over. As promised, here at the end is the final results from the poll. Got about 50 people to actually respond, so that's not bad. Down below I'll put the Excel spreadsheet so you can see the randomizer. Please like the video, subscribe, all that jazz. Follow me on all the things. Follow me on Twitch because I'm streaming that, including Mass Effect, because it's a blast, genuinely. It's a great game. It's why I want to make this video. Cheers. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.